What is your name?
Diane Cook,
How old are you?
57.
And where are you from?
You mean where was I born? Or where do I live now?
Either or.
Winnetka, Illinois.
Alrighty. Now we have to start with the questions. Can you describe for me where you were when you first heard that the planes had crashed?
I was in bed, sleeping. And my husband called me on the phone and told me to get up and turn on the TV right away.
Is that how you learned about the events?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. What did you think at first?
Stunned, confused, scared.
Did you turn on the TV before the second plane hit or after?
Before.
So you saw it on live television when the second one hit?
Yes.
Do you remember when you realized that it was a terror attack and not just an accident?
Yes, pretty much after the second plane hit. And then there was the attack on the Pentagon. That's when all the news reporters started saying that this was not an accident. This was a terrorist attack.
Yeah. How did you feel as the day unfolded?
Terrified. I was afraid that since we lived in Chicago at the time, that Chicago being a big city, that would be the next one that would be targeted. And so people were even leaving work in Chicago and rushing to get out of the city and get somewhere safe.
While you were sitting there, or even thinking back to it now, how did you want the U.S. to react to this day, to everything that unfolded?
Well, the first thing I wanted was to feel like they were trying to save as many people as they could and protect us. I didn't have an immediate feeling of returning the attack or anything like that and catching the bad guy. It was more about protecting and saving the people here.
What do you remember most from the day?
Well, I was pregnant with you, and I had never really felt you move that much until that morning when I was sitting on the couch in our family room, watching the TV nonstop in horror, and I suddenly realized that what I was feeling as well was you moving around inside of me. And in my mind, I thought she was upset too. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it was just bizarre.
Did you agree with the U.S.'s decision to invade Afghanistan?
Yes. I was, at that point, feeling that we had to let them know what a strong country we were and that we weren't going to take that kind of attack. And I was afraid to put soldiers and more United States people in jeopardy, but we just couldn't take that line down.
Yeah. How did your life change after 9/11?
Well, there was all the heightened security everywhere all of a sudden, and flying became very scary for everybody. The feeling in an airport changed from, exciting, going on a vacation, people watching, fun time, to being terrified when you saw all the changes that were made as you had to go through security to get on a plane, and you looked at people differently, and that was upsetting. Prior to that, you didn't judge people just by the way they looked. In your own mind, it was different after that because you were always curious, could that be a terrorist? Could that be a terrorist? You'd look around the plane as you sat down, eyeballing people that looked shifty, thinking, oh, I hope I don't sit next to him, or are they sure they checked his bags?
Yeah. Was it more of like a topic of discussion among your friends or things like that, or your family at
Oh
that
my
time?
gosh, yeah. Initially, that's all anyone talked about. And while everyone else is taking cover, my, you know, elderly parents were out driving around the city of Chicago. Everyone, saying, stay home, don't do anything, don't go anywhere. And they were out driving around because they had a different mentality of, it already happened once, it's not going to happen again, you're overreacting. Maybe that's something due to everything they'd already been through. And my dad had fought in a war. My mom had been through a lot, of course, too, in her life. So I don't know why they had such a different attitude towards it than people my age did at the time.
Yeah, was it something that, how long do you think it was super like prevalent in your day-to-day life in a way, or was there a certain point where that whole topic of discussion just disappeared? And
I don't know that it disappeared because everywhere you turn for the following month, 6 months, a year, there's always all those anniversaries after something big like that happens. So, and then they had to follow all the funerals, and so it's like the pain of it, didn't go away or fade away like many news stories do, because this one was so huge and it was captured live. I mean, that was another thing of it, that even if you didn't happen to see it on TV for the next, I don't know how many weeks or months, they would replay it over and over and over. And small children, parents were trying to decide, do you let your child see it? Should you not? You don't want to terrify them. But you almost couldn't get away from it because it was down to People magazine had an article on those that had died for weeks afterwards, the news, newspapers for sure. And then it was 6 months, and then it was the year memorial. And it just kind of never didn't go away for a long time in day-to-day life. So it was hard to even imagine it fading. And then, of course, everyone started critiquing the president and how he was handling it. And then that kind of divided people in the United States again. So it was just very difficult time. As I said earlier, I was pregnant with you when it happened. You were born in December. My immediate world changed quite a bit. But then you look at your children in a different way. You were my first child, and it was almost like you'd think that could never happen. But you saw it happen, and you knew the dangers that were ahead, and it just seemed extra scary bringing children into the world at that point.
yeah, did you know anyone that was in any of the World Trade Centers, or know of anyone?
No, I didn't.
No.
I mean, the people that were closest were our friends, the Vegras, and they were working near there, and they knew of people and, that kind of stuff. But I didn't personally know anyone.
What was your reaction when you heard that Bin Laden had died in 2011? Because I remember personally that we had it on in the family room. And Dad was watching it.
Well, there was that.
It was like that big documentary.
Yeah, and you feel. You don't want to say you felt elated or excited because it was a terrible thing, but he had made so many people, ruined so many lives, and had such a twisted mentality of what the right should be that I was happy and relieved. I felt like, okay, now we can breathe a little bit easier knowing that he can't ever mastermind anything like that again.
Okay, great. Thank you for taking the time to sit with me and answer these questions.
Well, thank you, Sophia. It was very nice spending time with you.
Okay.